welcome to the Bree Pod. You're here with me, Bree, and you're also here with Liam, which you'll probably hear in the background. So I'm so happy to be back. It's been a while. It's really nice to be able to touch base with everybody. Um, I'm in a place right now where I want to share what's happening. So the last time we spoke, we had been talking about surgery, and I think we've been talking about this for like a year now. Well, we have a date. I actually do have a surgery date, and I will be having surgery on February 7th of this year. Well, of the year coming up of 2024. So we're in like we're not in the single digits yet, but we're definitely in the double digits of when this surgery is going to go down. It is scary, exciting, stressing, all the feelings that you could possibly feel, I think. I've been getting myself prepared because in January we're going to be having a sit down with my surgeon and we're going to be talking about what's to come, what to expect, questions to ask. And yeah, I am scared completely. But I know that it's going to be okay. But I am absolutely terrified of surgery. And I think that's a normal feeling. I'm pretty certain that many people that I've read, because I've gone on Reddit, I've gone on Google, many people that go through this, there are always the pre-jitters prior to their surgery. However, um, they're like, of course, I'm gonna find some good things and some not so great things. That's what I'm kind of trying to figure out is what's true, what's not true. But I also shouldn't be over analyzing because not everybody's story is the same. Not everybody's surgery is the same. So there's a lot of things that I have to like mentally tell myself, okay, we need to back up and make sure that we are, and when I say we, this is me and my brain, I need to make sure that I am thinking clearly of what's going on. So, and not over, scaring myself. So, with that being said, I have been just getting prepared. I've been looking through my questions because I have a lot of questions that need to be answered, um, and a lot of just scary thoughts that I want to ask as well with my surgeon. But anyway, in January, we'll be meeting with him. I think they said it's going to be like an hour to a 2 hour meeting. And then I also have to do like a pre-screening. I'm gonna have to do the pre-screening twice because technically you're supposed to do it like 30 days prior to your surgery. And I was trying to get everything in one day because I do a lot of traveling between Arizona and Oregon. So in January, there's one day I literally have 3 appointments back to back. One is with my oh my goodness, what do they call them? Not the surgeon. Shoot, I can't think of her name right now. Anyway, my orthodontist, surgeon, orthodontist, all in one day. At the orthodontist, what they need to do is they need to get another form, not formation of my mouth. What is it? A mold of my mouth so they can figure out where the teeth are sitting. And then the next thing that they need to do is they need that to process. So while I am with my surgeon in the afternoon, I'll come back after and then they'll have it all processed and then they'll figure out where they're gonna put where they need to move teeth again. Because right now they're basically at the end and just moving teeth just very slightly to get it exactly surgery ready. So then in February, I'll come back to my orthodontist. They'll see me the week of my surgery. They will put on surgery wire or wire for surgery. I'm not sure what that means, but they'll put that on. Well, I understand what it means. I just mean like I don't know what that's gonna feel like, but they're gonna put that surgical wire on, and then basically be prepared for surgery. Surgery day, I will start my day at basically 11:30 in the morning. The surgery will not start until 1:30, so that's going to be a 11:30 to 1, and even prior to that for me is going to be a long, stressful, scary time. So if you do know my number, message me, please. I'm going to need your support. Um, but overall, it's going to be definitely an interesting time. Um, so then after that, um, I will go. I'm not staying overnight. I know that. They told me that I will be out by the time you know, everything is done. After I'm out of recovery, I'll be able to go home. So at that point in time, my father will be taking care of me as well as my son. Um, and then my husband will also be there to take care of me as well. Now, the exciting part, and I say this very jokingly, the exciting part is that in order for me to eat, I'm gonna have to use a turkey baster, basically. So that's gonna be interesting. Sorry, I keep saying so much. I'm very nervous about that because for the beginning, I have to be on a liquid diet or at least a soft food liquid diet. But the very first week, it has to be basically the turkey baster. Um, so I feel like when it comes to food and liquid diet part, I shouldn't say I'm not as excited for because I am a person that likes crispy in texture, but for almost 8 to 12 weeks, I cannot get excited over anything crispy. That, basically, from my understanding, I cannot use my teeth to chew anything until 12 weeks. That's a long time. I think it hits like April or something I looked up, for when I finally would be able to chew. And the thing is, though, my surgeon told me that if I get a feeling of where I feel like I can finally chew early, like let's say we hit the 4 weeks and I feel like I can chew things, um, he said that I will be seeing him in the chair again to correct that. So basically, that was his advice of do not eat hard food or crispy food because you feel that you can, because I assure you, you'll be back here getting this done all over again. And as we all know, I do not need or want to do this over again. One time, hopefully, will be enough. I did read, though, and I'm not sure how this happens, but I did read that sometimes people that did get surgery, they ended up, if they didn't keep up with, either having the retainer in or keeping up with certain things to keep their mouth where it need to be, um, they reverted back. I don't know if that's proper language, but anyway. So, and I don't know how. This again is a quick read that I did. I don't actually know what was the cause, but I know that, I mean, they've even said this with your teeth. If you don't keep up with your retainer and things like that after your braces, your teeth could revert back. And to do all of this for so many years that we're at, and even though it's not so many years, it's only been like two, maybe 2.5. I'm not sure. Um, I just don't think that'd be a good idea for me to just throw it all away at this point. So my goal is to just keep up with everything, um, and just try to, not screw that up because I think that would be devastating, really. Um, so that is what I intend to do. I'm excited for the end part. I'm not excited for the part where I have to actually, um, you know, recover because that part I know it's gonna be hard. I know it's not gonna be easy. Um, but at the same time, that's a part of life. So we'll see. Um, anyway, It's gonna be, I think mentally it's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to work with. Because I did read that one of the biggest things when it comes to this is just keeping the mind healthy and not living in the scary parts too long, or not focusing solely on that, because that is what's gonna make recovery feel longer, um, and not as it won't be as a great. Not to say it's gonna be great or anything, but it won't. I need to keep my mindset in a good place because I can make it worse for myself otherwise. So that's the advice I'm basically going to take. As far as questions go, I plan to ask. Well, there's a couple that I want to know. Like one, for example, is I do grind my teeth at night, so I'm curious what happens if I do that. Is that gonna hurt me? Is that gonna make things worse? Um, I have just simple, well, not simple questions, but I read online if I know this is the worst thing, like no doctor wants to hear. I read online this, but at the same time, I want to be prepared. So I guess we're in a mixture here. But uh, one of my questions is gonna be like, who is gonna be working on me? Will you have student in the room? Are you the only one that's gonna be touching my mouth? And I ask these things because I've read online, like I did see places where certain surgeons out there had been sued. So this is where some of these questions are just like, I think just a peace of mind sort of thing for me. Um, I don't know if it's really gonna help my answer or not, but I just want to be prepared. So I want to know who's going to touch, like, who's going to be physically touching me in the sense of doing any work in my mouth. Just so I have an idea. Like, I think that we should be able to know who our team is, what is happening, especially when you're under anesthesia. It's in one sense, I don't think it's a negative to ask um, these questions. So that is my goal to ask that. I'm not going to be rude about it. I just need to know. And, I'm hoping that we'll meet maybe some of the team while I'm there, just to kind of get an idea. Um, the There are many, I think I have like a list here of questions, many other questions that I have for him. I've been writing it down. Oh, yes. I wanted to talk to them if there's a possible way I could talk to a previous client. Um, I know that HIPAA gets involved, so that would have to be obviously okayed by the person that's, you know, I should say patient, not client, but it'd have to be okay by them. But that's my plan. As far as my recovery goes, I have a list of things that I found online that I might need. So I'm gonna kind of go over those with him to see what he feels would be best, or what sounds like something I don't actually need and what sounds like something I do. From what I read, and have seen twice now in from different real people that have had jaw surgery, is that they really highly recommend having a humidifier, because they say the pain wasn't actually what was the most difficult for them, because they didn't really feel a lot of it due to the meds and everything. However, um, they said that breathing through your nose and everything, because it's kind of now your mouth is kind of closed more, so you can't really, have when your nose is stuffed and usually you'll breathe through your mouth. Well, in this case, your nose is going to be stuffed, but your mouth is going to be hard to open. So breathing isn't really the most exciting time. Um, so you're going to need a humidifier. That was something that I read that's a must. Um, I read that some people said that as well, because of this too, sleeping is not going to be the most comfortable, so it may be best to sleep on a recliner or wedge pillows, but something to keep you lifted. So I wrote that down. I read things about these ice pack things that you can get from Amazon. an adult bib because obviously there's gonna be a lot of drooling because you don't feel your face, your mouth's open. As far as it can go, of course. And then there was just different things. They said like for brushing your teeth, it's gonna be a little bit difficult. So some people said it didn't matter if you had the electric toothbrush or just a regular, both of them are uncomfortable. So just basically pick your poison on that. And then I was reading, I think that's basically it. And then as far as eating food, some people said a squeeze sauce bottle is easier than a syringe. Some people said syringe. Some people use frosting pipe bags when they could eat mashed potatoes. So there's different things. And then some people said they use mouth tape. So I wrote all this down to kind of see what they think I should do. And one biggest like piece of advice that I found that really I think hit hard in a good way, hit home, I should say, is basically they said listen to your surgeon. You know, the advice that they give you on how to recover is going to be your best advice. It's not to say that people and their experiences don't have, the best advice, but I can see what they mean when they say that it's going to be beneficial and helpful. So that is kind of like what I'm looking at this point is making sure I ask for the advice and not solely rely on Google, but you know, I'm still gonna look it up, you know me. So yeah, um, that's basically there are a couple questions I'll have for anesthesia for the people that administer that, but that will not be until I guess surgery day. Um, and then I think that is basically what will happen in January, and then we'll meet again in February. I'll have to do, like I said, I have to do the whole screening again, so I'll have to do it twice, just fine. Just make sure I'm healthy enough to get the surgery. Which in a big way, I'm very happy that we have that because, um, it's just nice to know that the hospital I'm going to, they require it. Now, there were a couple options of how I could get this done. I could either, have like a private, he said basically anywhere that has the stuff to do the surgery, he could do it at. So if I was going like expensive and have my private, you know, place in a um hospital, I could do that, or he'll do it in, whatever. So that was good to know. He'd go anywhere with the same team, because these are things that I remember from the first meeting with him. Um, and my orthodontist really trusts him a lot, and I think that's what's made me feel a bit more comfortable because she really is trustworthy. My orthodontist has been nothing but helpful and kind, and she's been with me through it all, including being pregnant, because I started this while I was pregnant. So I really feel good that I have a great team behind me. Um, and so I'm just kind of trying not to stress and trying to trust because that's the biggest thing is the fear could eat me alive, or I can just trust and, pray I'm not one of those people that get the botched surgery. Obviously, that's not the best prayer, but and just, at this point it's up in the air of trust, which is scary, right? So yeah, that is what's coming up. I do plan to have another um episode where I share the answers to these questions. I thought it would be cool to first kind of tell you what the questions were and then see what he says because a lot of times that what I've have found, especially with previous surgeries, is that the questions and the things that you anticipate and all the stuff that, you get yourself prepared for as best as you can, once you actually are in it, it's a completely different story. Like, for example, having Liam was a completely different story than like what I prepared myself versus what I actually used is completely different. I found that there was a lot of things that I did not actually need that I brought to the hospital, and there are a lot of things that um I did need later. That was actually after the hospital. So with that being said, I have a feeling that that kind of same thing is going to happen when it comes to this surgery, that I'm going to be probably over prepared, and I'll find out by the end of it what I actually need. And so I plan to do an episode after that, um, after the surgery, when I can talk, to kind of share what I found out, because I think it'll be interesting to listen to this episode and to see what I didn't need and what I did need and what I thought was going to happen and what didn't happen and all that stuff. Um, so we're going to see. Only time will tell at this point. But I'm very happy to be back and sharing with you guys. I do not know if I'm going to do another episode soon or not outside of sharing the answers after the January discussions. But if I do, it'll be, I guess, a surprise to me and to you, because I've been kind of just spending this time embracing life as a mama, um, enjoying it, and kind of figuring out like what next year is going to look like for the Brie Pod. I have no intentions of letting go of the Brie Pod. I think it's been awesome to have. But I think my goal for next year is to bring it back a little bit more now that I'm getting a semblance of what what my schedule is like and what's happening. So that is the goal, to bring this back a little bit more, to have guests again, to come on and discuss things, because the more I um look at the episodes that I had prior, the more curious I am of bringing people back. Like um something lately that's been really on my mind to have is another discussion about medical gaslighting in the medical world. Because it has nothing to do with my surgery, my current surgery, but when it comes to endometriosis, in that world, it is probably the most gaslit I've ever been, and I'm not the only one. Obviously, I've gotten to a better place. I've had better doctors, but it took me so long to get to this point, or to that point, not this point, because we're already past that. But there are other women out there that are being told, you know, that their symptoms are a figment of their imagination and that they don't have something when they do. So I think I still want to advocate for that, because I want to my goal is to help as many women as possible not have to wait 10 years to get their diagnosis, to hopefully be able to push and ask questions and not accept no for an answer. Because I think that's one of the biggest things that happens is you get so tired of being told, well, it's just a bad period, it's just bad period, it's just bad this, it's in your head kind of deal. It's anxiety, it's all this. Now, it's not to say anxiety doesn't have a play in things, especially when it comes to health. However, there's things that your body um doesn't full blown make up either. Like, so there's a lot of, anyway, a lot going on in that. So with that being said, I really do think I want to bring that back up, because I'm just I need to keep sharing that story of um finding help, because my story, it took me forever. And the biggest reason why I didn't get help sooner is because you give up. You get to a place where you're tired of being told things. You're tired of feeling that something's wrong with their body and people are telling you that you're wrong. Because really, at the end of the day, I feel I've always felt this, that personally, you know your body better than anybody. And when they tell you, no, you're not feeling something, and you literally are, you know, that's a huge problem. So, and the other part is, I do get that there are people out there that abuse the system. I get that there are people out there that have really painted that perspective on people. However, it does, I don't think it's great for people to automatically go down that route of judging somebody, um, you know, and thinking, well, they're just doing this because they want this or they want a certain drug or they want whatever. Like in my whole time of fighting for myself with endo, I never once asked for some form of a prescription. All I wanted is a answer. And then when they said, well, you have anxiety and wanted to put me straight to the anxiety pills, here's the thing. I am not against anxiety medication. I think that it is needed for people. But for my case of what I was going through, I didn't need anxiety medication. I needed somebody to look and see, do I have endo? And the unfortunate thing is the only way, so they know at this point, because the research isn't fully great, is through laparoscopy surgery. And it took me forever to get to that place. So those are the things that are upsetting because a lot of things, not, my thing is one size does not fit all. So, you know, when you're assuming, well, you just have a bad period and you're anxious, I'm sorry, that doesn't make up for the fact that I'm physically in pain and I'm physically bedridden and I'm physically sick. Like, anxiety does play a huge role in parts of your health, but it doesn't define every single thing. And especially since, like, for those parts of my life, I had been, you know, focusing on them. That's where um, therapy came in it. That's where I, went for nutrition because even your nutrition can play a huge role with everything. Um, However, it just it's just annoying when it's a one size fits all because that's the first pop thing that they can pop up in their head. Now, again, please know that does not mean that I'm against anxiety medication. I need to repeat that because I do not want that to be taken from this. What I'm against is a one size fits all. And when you go to somebody with your symptoms of whatever it is, especially for those of you that have illnesses that are not visible physically, that's where it becomes an issue. So, so anyway, I went on a tangent and I apologize for that. But basically, I am back and I can't wait to share with you all what's to come. Well, not what's to come, the answers to the questions. I was gonna say, what's to come is kind of scary, so maybe I don't really wanna. I'm not really excited for that, but I do look forward to having the answers to my questions because I'm just at the question stage, basically. So anyway, thank you everybody. Um, Thank you for following my journey, and as you know, you are loved, you are worthy, you are cherished, and I'm proud of you. Until next time on the Brief Pod. Bye!